Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the second video in series of videos that will be coming out, tailored particularly to the Nigerian pay system. I mean, that is what we want to achieve at the end of all these videos, so that we want to be able to design payroll and calculate, more importantly, to several taxes including the PAYE and withholding, more importantly to withholding taxes and some other taxes like that. So we want to be able to calculate those things and use Excel to present that information. So following from our previous video, if you are following along, if not, you may want to watch that video that we explain what Excel is all about, and we talked about the Excel cells and how they work, what content you can put into those cells, and how to manipulate some of those, just a basic concept of understanding of what the Excel looks like and how it works. So we're going to build on that. We're going to explain more on those cells that we talked about in the previous video, and we also take a deep look into formulas for this this particular video. So building on the last video, we saw what Excel, the data and information we can put into Excel, like letters, and letters like that, and numbers. These are the things Excel can take, So we will be using a real life or more realistic examples, especially the one that is towards what we want to achieve, that is the payroll. So we can build on that. Now, in our previous video, we saw that we can enter data into each cells and manipulate them. But what we didn't really talk about that time was that we can also change the appearance of what we are looking at. I mean, for each of these cells, we can adjust them to suit presentation. It doesn't affect calculation or anything, but we can also manipulate each cell. For instance, this particular cell, you can see that inside it I've imputed just this string of letters, that is name of employee. But if you look at it very well, you will see that it has expanded, because the information is on cell E6. Now if you look at it very well, it has expanded. The content has exceeded the size of the cell, and it has overflown to the next cell. But if you put another value, let's do it this way. Let's say your first name. You can see that the first name has overlapped that cell E7. Now has overlapped to join or to cross over to the next cell, which is F7. But because if you put another value or data in the next cell, let's try that. Let's put last name into this one. Now you will see that because the cell here does not contain or cannot contain, you cannot show you the total, all the information in that cell. Now this is the part where we need to adjust each cells to show the entire content that is inside it. Don't forget this value, we impute it there. That means it's one of the values that Excel cells can take. These are letters, and this here are numbers. We can manipulate these things to give us the desired result, assuming we want to use these formulas, I mean the values in these cells to calculate something, and so on and so forth. But for the purpose of this video now, what we are trying to do is to show us that we can adjust the content, adjust cells to fit our content for the purpose of presentation. if we do not adjust it here, it doesn't affect anything, it doesn't affect calculation or anything. This is just a way of presenting information. And as you can see, if you need to expand a cell to in order to fit in or to to show the entire content, you can just come up to this column head here. Don't forget, these are columns, and then these are rows. So you can expand each row to fit into your data, as well as the columns too, to fit in, just to show the entire content of what you are trying to or the data inside of it. If you move your mouse up to the line dividing each column or dividing each row, you will see that the mouse pointer will change to something like we call it airline. Then when you click and drag, you click and hold, then drag as you wish it to expand or to shrink the size of a cell as you wish to do. So now you can see that I've expanded the cell E6 to show the entire content inside it, because it has overlapped before to the next cell. So we will not dwell too much on this, you can practice that on your own. And on this cell F862, we would like to expand the cell to take to show us the entire content in that cell. Now that we have here, we have the first name, we have the last name. If you want, we can put the middle name and so on and so forth. So here now we can put designation, and in the next place we can say that we want basic salary. We will adjust all the cells later to fit in. And then we have transport allowance, transport, meal, transport housing, basic housing and transport. Let's just stop there for the purpose of understanding. Now we need to adjust each of the cells to accommodate the information inside them. Again, the purpose of this particular video is to show us that we can manipulate or adjust content of cells as well as formulas. We are yet to get to formula. We speak briefly about it in the last video. And then so if you look at this cell here now, anybody seeing this will know that this is serial number, the first name, last name, designation, basic salary, transport and housing. These are elements that makes up your entire salary. For, of course, it can be more than this, but for the purpose of our lesson or tutorial, we should limit ourselves to these 3 components of the salary. So here we're just going to make this the contents of this cell. We are going to move them to the left hand side. That is called alignment. Here you on the alignment section here, you will see the different ways of aligning. This align to the left, but before you align, you need to highlight whatever you want to align first, adjust first, because whatever you do here will affect your selection in these places. So I have highlighted these 3 cells together, and I can align them at the same time. If I want, I can do them one after the other, but it is better. So whatever you will do in these places, this formatting sections here, you should be careful of what you select first, because whatever you select will be, whatever cell you select here is what to apply to your selection. So if you decide to select the whole column D, and you apply, that is exactly what will happen to you. Now if for instance I select this column D and I put everything to the left column, you see that for instance if this has been on this side and also this on this side, if I want I can leave it this way, but if I want to move everything inside this column D to the left hand side as an alignment, I will highlight the whole column. That means anything inside this column, anything that is inside this column will be aligned to the left hand side. That is, these are just formatting, I mean, to change the appearance of information or that is being displayed. It doesn't have anything to do with formulas, or it's just a presentation. Now I forgot here, we will need the total that will calculate. So in this cell now we will have total that will calculate the figures that we will input into these places. So we have our first staff. We can have Adewale John, who is the sales manager. We can have Princess Judith, the sales person, and Robert Mayowa, who is our distributor. We assume these are 3 staff members, but if you look at this example, this little payroll that we're trying to do, basically just looking at it, you may not, everything looks the same. I mean, the letters, everybody, everything is looking, we don't know what is what. So by applying some few changes, for instance, to denote that everything on this row here are headings, so you can highlight these things and apply some few changes to them, like we bold them. Now this is a change. By looking at it now, you will know that okay, this is talking about the serial numbers, and this is talking about the first name of our staff, the last name, designation, basic salary, and so on and so forth. So this is just formatting. There are a whole lot you can do with the formatting, but that is not the purpose for this lecture. We just digress a little bit. Of course, you can do a lot of changes for presentation purpose. I mean, if you need to print this out, you need to see how it will come out. This is where you can make the changes to that, and so you can change the font type. If you highlight, we decide to change the font type of those items or the cells that you highlighted. I mean, the font type here, there are several kinds of fonts you may want to choose. So you can decide on the particular one that you want. I'm okay with cut area. Let's choose area, and you can change the font size by clicking on that small arrow there and selecting the desired font. And as you can see, things are getting a little bit big here. You can also highlight everything at the same time to make that change. Let's change all these ones to the same area, but we will not bold those ones. As you can see, the content has overlapped and everything like that, so we can adjust by clicking and dragging to expand each cell. Another way or another method to to stretch or expand those cells to accommodate the content of each cell is to double click on the last or the right hand side airline here. If you double click on it, Excel is so intelligent that it will expand to the longest cell in the column. Don't forget, we're dealing with columns here. This will be rows. If you have items that are bigger like that is where this would be useful for the row. And the same way, if you double click, it will also expand or adjust itself to the longest or the highest rather highest data in the row. So again, you double click, because this we have only just one value in this column, so it will expand to the longest. This now, because it's column, we'll be talking about longest in the, or you can as well drag manually to accommodate whatever you want. So this total now, I want it to be on the right alignment, so I'll select the cell and come to this right align. I click on it, it will adjust to the right alignment. And so now we can begin to populate for the basic salary. Basic salary of the manager, let us have it as 35,000 naira. Is basic transport for the year, we'll say we have 10,000 naira. And then the housing, let's use 15,000 naira or 15,000. Now by looking at this, now we will say this does not look really much presentable, so we can format these ones to give us a better look of monetary values. That is to put the comma and then the two decimal places or points rather, so that it looks more presentable. Again, to do that, we can either click on each of the cells and make adjustments here in these places, or better yet, we can highlight all the cells that we want, including this total too, because we will be having monetary figures inside it, as that will be holding the calculation in the nearest future here. So we highlight everything together, I mean all the cells that we want to make adjustment to, and then here in this number 2 here, we can click to format as number. Number is not what we want. You can come here to do all sort of changes that you want. Usually we will need to click on this accounting or command style to give us a better look. Because we have formatted all these cells now, if we enter just any figure 12,000 and press enter, it will format it, because we have already formatted those cells. If you look at this one, I didn't format it including when I was formatting earlier, so it remains unchanged. But because I have formatted these ones, see that immediately you press enter after entering the data, the formatting takes effect. Now let's put 25,000 for this guy or for this lady, and here, or before that was just to show us the formatting that it is working. Now in this total here, it is where we want to talk about formula. Now our aim, or our what we want to achieve, is to, inside this cell, we want it to add the values of these 3 other cells. We want to put the value of the 3 cells into this cell to show us what the value will be at any point in time. Should we later decide to change this man's salary, we don't need to be calculating or by pressing calculator and be typing it. That is why we have Excel to do this work for us, such that now to write a formula, obviously you need to select the cell where you want to input the formula, because the cell is also going to give you or show you the output, the outcome of the mathematical expression. So to write a formula, the first thing you need after selecting the cell is to put an equal sign. That sign is to tell Excel that the next few keystrokes are going to be formulas. So that is the beginning of writing a formula equal to sign. You put that equal to, then it will be followed by the actual formula itself. What do you want to do? That is where your mathematical idea comes in, because until you know what you want to do, Excel cannot do anything for you. So you need to know what you want to achieve, what you want to do, and then make that expression. That is what formula is all about, expression. And then the system will go ahead to calculate or to manipulate for you and displays the result. Now what we want to do is to calculate or to add the values of these three cells together. And in the previous video, we explained the importance of knowing the names of cells for us because of reference. Well, we are at that point now where we need to make reference. Reference is that I want to pick values in a particular cell, so I need to know the name of that cell. Now I need the value inside this place, which is cell H7. So I'll just type equals to H7. Now Excel will pick that cell for me. It's just highlighted to show me that this is what I'm talking about. Now at this point, if I press enter, you see what happens. I am saying that I want this cell K7 to be equal to cell H7 at any point in time. That is the formula I've written there. But what you are saying is the value. The formula is actually inside the cell. The output is what you are saying. If you are confused or you don't know, you click on that particular cell. Here is the formula bar, which is what you are saying up here. It said equals to H7. This might be very, very useful in some other scenarios if you are trying to get the value of another cell. You want to make use of it in another. Now we say this cell at any point in time should equal to this cell. So that means if you change the value here, say 45,000, because of the formula we impute into this place, we say at any point in time this cell should be equal to this cell. So if you are making changes to this cell, definitely after typing and press enter, it should affect this cell as well. That is reference. I'm referencing on this cell, I'm referencing this cell. Now to go back to our formula, we'll delete what is here now. Again, to type a formula, you start with equal sign and you say equal to what? This cell should be equal to this cell, or unless I forget, you can either type or click on the cell directly. Let us not get confused. You say equals to cell H7, you type it, you can type it H7 plus, look for the plus button on your keyboard, plus. Now at this point I can also type I7, which will be this cell, or I can just pick it myself. I will put my mouse on the cell that I want and I'll click on it. Automatically Excel has written out the cell name for me, which is I7, and one more cell to go, then plus also this cell J7. I can type it, I can pick it like that. After finish typing the formula, press enter. You can see now that Excel has calculated. If you select that cell, if you look at it here, this is the formula H7 plus I7 plus J7. H7 plus I7 plus J7. Those are the names of those three cells that we have imputed into this place. So at any point in time, Excel will calculate whatever value we impute into the cell for us. So if you decide tomorrow you change this one to 45,000 instead of 35, immediately after typing, if you press enter, this cell will always be referencing these three cells and calculate and then display for us the value that are inside these places. Now moving ahead, we can have this place is supposed to be 35,000. This month here we can give him 20,000 for basic salary, and you can see nothing changed here because I've not put any formula into these places to calculate the total for us. Now we'll find another way to do that, because it's the same thing we want to achieve for these two other cells, is to calculate whatever we input in this basic and other components. We want to calculate them here. This is what we did here. So instead of typing all over again, you can just copy the formulas and paste them here. We'll get to that very soon. Here, the distributor is given 15,000 basic salary, and we can go to the next cell after the first step by pressing your tab key. It will go to the next cell, or you can just click directly. Here, let's give this man 8,000. So I press tab key, I go to the next cell immediately after the cell that I'm working on. On the housing, let's give him 10,000 naira. Now pressing enter for this guy, let's give him 5,000. I press tab to the next cell. Let's give this guy 7,000. So this is what we have. Now we can either do the same again here, say equal to, again you can pick it H8, I press the plus button, plus I8, then plus this last one J8. I press enter when I'm done. Oh, that's a big difference. 38,000. Now we can do it that way, or we can just copy the cell here that we have calculated the cells here, because we want to achieve the same result into these other cells. We can just copy. To copy a cell, a formula, you can right click on that cell that contains a formula. You can see it here saying H7 plus I7 plus J7, but what is showing is the value here. So if you copy a cell that has formula, you are copying the formula, not the cell, not the value. So if I copy now, I go to another cell, or the cell that I want, I right click and paste. You see that this one has 60,000, but this one is having 38,000, because this one is calculating the values here. I copy the formula and I paste it on the next one. It is a formula, not the value, because if you click on this one and you look at the formula bar here, it is showing that Excel is so intelligent that it has changed the values here to correlate it with the adjacent cells for us. It tries to think that is what we want to do, and obviously it is correct in this situation. In some cases it may not be correct. If you don't get this one very clearly now, this explanation, don't worry, in the next few examples you will understand very well. So I'm going to also copy the formula also to the next, or to the last cell there, so that to complete, I'll copy, I'll go to the cell that I want. I can either paste or press enter to calculate for me. Alright, let me undo that. You can see, so when I copy, Ctrl C, you see that there are some moving little dancing selection around that cell to show you that I have copied something. And if you look down here, down in this place, it says select destination and press enter or choose paste, and this is the destination that I want to paste the cell. I press enter. It will copy the formula, not the value. It will copy the formula for me and then do the mathematical calculation. Now we have created something, because tomorrow if you decide to change values here, say this is 20,002, you see that it will automatically adjust itself and then recalculate based on the values that are inside these three cells that we refreshed. Because if you look at the cell here, the formula is saying H9 plus I9 plus J9. At any time, at any point in time, it will always make reference to this cells and do the calculate for us. We will say we are through yet, but looking at this table, we have total for Adewale John. We assume this is January. On this sheet here, this is sheet 1. We can have as many sheets as possible. This sheet 1, you can rename it by right clicking and select rename. So let's call this January salary. If you finish, you press enter. So we're working on January salary now. We say Mr. Adewale John, we collect 6,000. We are paying Princess 38,000 and Robert 32,000 in January. But how much are we paying everybody? How much money are we paying everybody at the same time? What is the total cost of January salary to us? So we can have total down here to know the total amount we are paying out. You can also have total for each of these elements. So at a glance, if you look at it, you say, oh, this is what I'm paying as basic salary for all 3 staff in January. So that means we need totals here. Therefore, we need to put formulas to calculate the total of this one, just like we did for total of this in these places too. Now, instead of going through this method of I1 plus J1 plus J2 plus J3, there's another better way of doing total sum, because what we're doing is summary of everything in between this place. We have it here. So if we want to do summary of everything in between this place too, we want to put the sum down here. There's a better and quicker way to do that, and this is the formula here, Autosum. Now if you select the cell here and just click on that Autosum, you will see that Excel has written a formula for you. It is not I1 plus I2 or A7. It is a kind of inbuilt formula that is there. Nevertheless, if you go ahead and type is equals to H7 plus H8 plus H9, it will still work, but this is a better way of doing things. And now this formula is saying the sum of, we said, is equal to the sum of H7. Now this column, it means to H9. That's what we have written there. Is equal to, we are saying, what we want to say is this cell should equal to the sum of, you can see that it has brought out the related formula that contains sum, because we type equal to, so it's bringing suggestions. And sum here is it adds all the numbers in a range of cells. So the range means from one place to another place. That is what range means, a range of cells. So from cell H7 to H9, this is H9. We want to calculate, well, we want to sum everything in between that cell. So we say equals to, but you need to open bracket for that. Sum, what sum? H7, now your column to H9. We close your brackets, we press enter. This is 75,000. Well, we need to format this this cell to make it look, I think the font size is not, so there's also another quicker way to do formatting. If you already have formatted a cell and you want to make another cell the same way, so you go to that cell that you want to replicate and click on Format Painter. It has copied the formatting, and then you apply it on the cell that you want by just clicking on it. You can see that is very quick. That is formatting, not adjusting any formula inside it. So you can see now this formula is saying sum of H7 to H9. That means everything inside this range will be summed up and displayed here for us. Now this next cell too, the same thing we want to achieve. Instead of going through that, we can just copy this cell. Excel is so intelligent that it will change the values. So select this cell, go to where you want to paste your destination and just click paste. You can highlight or paste on more than one cell. Like I've copied this one now, I will highlight these two cells together and I press enter. It will apply the formula to the two cells or to the range of cells that I selected. Now we have a strange value here display. You are seeing this one because the value in that cell is more than the space given, but because it's a number, unlike letters here, it will fall on the other cell, on the nearby cell or the adjacent cell. But because this is a number and it's a calculation, which is why Excel I changed it to pound sign. So if we increase the cell size, it will display what is supposed to be there for us. Now as you have it here now, if you click on this cell, you will see that it is a summary of everything inside this place. So by way of looking at this now, okay, let us bold the values in these places. You can highlight everything together and just click on bold. Now we have something more presentable, you know, to show anybody that, oh, we have 3 staff. Anybody looking at this now will say, oh, they have 3 staff. Mr. Adewale John is in number 1, Princess is number 2, Robert is number 3. Mr. Adewale John earns 60,000, Princess earns 38, and Robert is 32,000 in January, not every month, because we will change those figures later. And oh, in January we are paying 130,000 naira as salary. Oh, only on housing for everybody we are paying 32. So this, you know, is a complete information and is presentable this way. But of course, you can still, you know, format things to change the appearance. You can add colors. You can to change, you know, just to give a better outlook or a better, you know, presentation for things. So guys, we would stop here today. We will build more on this in the other videos to come up. So again, do not forget to subscribe and click the notification button so you get to be informed when new videos or continuation videos on this subject matter is available for us to watch and then have some more knowledge about this. So we will build on this. I'm going to save this file now instead. The last one I didn't say, so we will continue to build on this particular you know, file so that we can move along with it. So thank you for this one, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.